by Josh, who goes by Mythic Comics and Art on when he's out on the circuit. Josh is local artist and writer from the Swansea area. We first met probably about 4 years ago, if not more. No,
4 or 5 years ago.
And Josh has been exhibiting at our con since either the first or second year that we started down in the Brangman. So it's about time we got some comics into the comic and gaming con stream, I guess. So do you want to tell us how you got started, Josh?
Yeah, so, oh man, how did I get started? So, basically, I've been a massive Batman fan since I was little. Loved him. Favorite hero, without a doubt, hands down. Since the animated series, that was it. As a kid, I've always been into my art, always drawn, and I did art at school. So for my GCSEs and A levels, I did art, and then I got to uni, stopped for about 6 years. What? But I studied ancient mythology, and basically my whole thesis was about ancient mythological heroes and modern day superheroes, and that got me back into comic books and wanting to create them. So I left uni with what I think is an amazing idea for a comic book that I've never actually been able to finish.
It's one of those things. Trust me, with my work with the SCGC, not SCGC, SCC, I totally understand that.
The curse.
You try, like, me and Adam plotted out like 14, 15 issues of Copperopolis, and only 2 have been released. So
I have both.
Sorry, I forgot to update in all of the issues that we had setting up. I forgot to change the name of the stream. So at the moment we are playing Pokemon, apparently.
That's fine. I'm down to. I'm a big Pokemon fan. Love Pokemon. I'll happily play Pokemon at any time.
I just restarted.
Wait, what Pokemon were you last streaming?
Pokemon Sword, because I haven't finished it. I
Nice.
bought it when it came out, and I got about halfway through, and it's one of those things I was saying on the stream on Saturday, that I always wanted that world where you could see the Pokemon, and losing the random encounters kind of took a little bit away from the game.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I suppose I'm like you. I half miss them, half don't. Like, I always said, like, oh, I want it to be a bit harder, and now, like, everything you encounter in the wild is level 60, but it's not any harder. It's just harder to catch stuff if you want it. And you can't just go out and do a battle to, like, sometimes you got to do one to, like, skip forward a little bit. But yeah.
To be fair, I think my issue with it wasn't so much that. I think Pokemon Let's Go Eevee kind of burnt me out, because, like, as amazing as Kanto looked and being able to fly around a Charizard, the fact that they brought in that Pokemon Go mechanic kind of ruined the game for me. It took me so long to finish it that I kind of burnt myself out, I guess.
So, like, I suppose, like, the random encounter, like, aspect of it is probably, like, my least favorite, like, thing about Pokemon. Like, I'd much rather fight other trainers than being able to just like chuck a Pokeball at a Pokemon that I want and being able to catch it was like way better for me than having to like go through the rigmarole of like getting it down to low HP, putting it to sleep, or paralyzing it. Like I know now, I just chuck a quick ball at everything, even legendaries. First turn, quick ball. Like if you've got it, you don't. If not, like okay, well you know, I'll get my Vileplume out and I'll put it to sleep and I'll try and get like you know.
Were
Oh,
you using both
yeah. So
both sticks?
yeah, double throw.
Yeah, I just,
Yeah.
I really, like, I'll still put Pokemon Go on every so often when I go out for a walk. If I'm walking somewhere that I know there's Pokestops and stuff, I'll still put it on, and I still like
Yeah.
it as a mobile game. But I felt stupid sitting there at my TV, like throwing the like
You know you can
Joy-Con.
press A.
I know,
You
and I
can.
did at the end because I was playing it handheld.
Yeah, I was just like, oh, screw this.
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, yeah, I got, yeah. It's like the Wii bowling, isn't it? You know, like everybody at the end, everybody was just sat down with one arm over the arm of like your sofa, just going like that. Like
yeah.
nobody's stood up doing this. Like this is not the exercise that Nintendo like wanted you to do. It's not happening.
No,
You
I
know,
think they
if you can
learned
do
that.
it sat down, you're gonna do it sat
I
down.
think they learned that with Ring Fit anyway, because that makes
Oh
you
yeah.
do actual exercise to play it. Yeah. The only problem I've got when I try and play Ring Fit is that the Joy-Cons slide down my legs, so I just find myself pulling them up all the time, and then it's telling me that I'm holding the ring too low, and yeah, it becomes a whole issue then. So that went on a bit of a tangent, didn't it?
It did, yeah.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
started on you liking Batman, and then ended up on Ring Fit somehow. Yeah, so
Yeah.
have you done many before all of this kicked off? Had you done
Mhm.
many cons?
Yeah, so I was starting to really like starting to get into it, to be quite honest. Like I had like this year I was planning to do a lot more. Like I got a new job that basically frees up my weekends. I can't drive, but I was prepared to, you know, take the train or
Yeah,
whatever. Like it was getting to the point where I could do more and more, and obviously lockdown sort of kicked me in the teeth with that one. I'm really excited to go back. Like I've got a lot more stuff to basically take now. Like the work's got a lot better than it was, so I'm excited to eventually go back. I think I've done maybe five or six cons like altogether in a 2 year space. So you know,
yeah. I saw by being an indie comics person, I saw more of Britain in um like 5 years than I did in the previous 25 years. I've been to
yeah.
like cons in like Llandudno, for example. I'd never been to Llandudno. We got Porthcawl. We don't need to go up North Wales.
Yeah, there's no other reason to go other than that there's a con there once a year.
Yeah, I've been to Belfast. I'd never been to Belfast before for a con.
Oh, I love Belfast.
If you if that one comes back, I highly recommend that one because like it's been one of the
Yeah.
better cons. That it was an MCM. I don't know if they're still running it now that what the was whatever the something pop took over the American company.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if they're still doing Belfast, but that was a great show, and people spent money on comics when they were out there. It
Yeah.
was a really good show. I've been like Glasgow. I've just everywhere. So like it is a great scene to get involved with, and the big part is like you want to go and make money, but a big part of these things is the networking opportunities. So I
Oh,
highly recommend
absolutely.
it.
There's yeah. I'd recommend it to anybody, anywhere. Like, even if you just want to like get into it, or you don't necessarily have to get a table either. Like the first 2 years of Swansea Comic Con, the first one where you're in is it the volcano or the Vulcan or the
volcano,
and that in the volcano, and then the first one in the Brangwyn. I didn't have a stall. I just took my the comic that I've been working on to go show people, so they could have a look at it. I got, it's really like, because people are so supportive as well. Like, I had, you get those ones and where I am now, I totally see. I I was just peddling rubbish, because you get these people that are look, you need to go to bigger drawing classes. You just need to put down the practice, put in the hours, repeatedly draw your character, just to really solidify your craft before you make your magnum opus, but it was really, it was always done in a nice way. Nobody's take one glance at it, oh, you're rubbish, pack it in, it's all you can do this, this is the things that you need to improve, this is what I would change to sort of make it a bit better, etc. A really good community, just to even if you're just dipping your toes in, you don't have to sell anything, you don't have to have enough, there's no pressure, you don't have to have enough work to open up a store. Just go talk to people, and people like me, come see me at the next con, and I will read your comic, and I will tell you what I think.
Yeah, that's what I've always liked about being involved, and that's why we started Swansea. Basically, it was I bumped into Simon when we were out and about in Carmarthen, Newport, or wherever we were going, and I'd keep bumping into Simon, and it was like, we should have something like this back home, and it kind of, and I was fed up of getting up at 5 o'clock on a Saturday morning to drive to Cheltenham or wherever I was going.
Yeah.
And I thought, oh, one on my doorstep. It'll be easy. Oh my god, it's so much worse. And it's meant that I don't get to go to as many cons as I used to go to as well.
Too busy organising the one that you're running.
Yeah, but I'm glad to bring that to the community, and that's why we've started this now. It's a way of talking to the community, keeping everyone involved and everything, because I think the community as a whole has missed Comic Cons, whether you go there for your cosplay or
oh god, yeah,
just as a punter or to have a table. I think that's missed. I've missed it a lot from.
I absolutely, I've missed it too. It's such a good feeling. Even as a small bit seller, you paid 40, 50 quid for your table, 6 months ago, and you come back and you're like, I've made £45, I'm £5 in profit, and I'm just gonna spend it all on takeaway. But I had a great time, Yeah, I bought 2 bottles of wine. I'm gonna buy a takeaway. There's all of my money gone, including my profit. But
and that's the thing as well. When you say that, you count everything you take on the day as profit. You don't or you aim to get your table cost back. And then when you get your table cost, you go, hooray, we're in profit. The fact that you've paid out for the petrol to get the comics printed and all the banners and everything. You've made £5, and it's £5 worth of profit as you sat with hundreds of hours of of work and everything. But
I remember. I know. I remember the first. The second Swansea Comic Con. I was counting the money that I'd made. I'd been tallying it up all day. I was like, okay, I've made my table money back. I'd already had some stuff printed from last year, so I hadn't spent as much printing. I was like, I've made my printing cost back. It was like, the next bit is in profit, and I made an extra £4 or something like that. And my partner was like, actually cost a £5. God, God damn it!
It was close though.
It was close. It was
Yeah.
close. Yeah.
Cause like yeah, I've been there. I've been there, and I sat once in a convention, and it was like in April. It was freezing cold. It was like semi outside. It wasn't like in a central heated building or anything. And we made £14 all day. And it was like we shouldn't have been there. It was a horror convention, and it was just like it was local enough
Yeah.
that it was like we'll go. Like the organizer gave us the table, so we couldn't complain. So technically, it was £14 worth of profit, and I had a good day, and that was it. But it was cold. So
Yeah. Yeah.
so
Some places you go, it is just freezing. You can't get over it. Like, um,
yeah.
yeah.
So I did notice probably a thought bubble last year when I was speaking to Kev from Dead Star. I noticed your name on
Yes.
some of their books. So how did you get into? Because Dead Star obviously were kind enough to become sponsors of us for the convention that never happened last May. So
Hmm.
it's nice to tie in that you actually worked with them. How did that come about?
Um. So, well, first of all, shout out to Dead Star. Like, Kev's absolutely great. Love him to pieces. Really good guy. I spoke to Kev at the very first Swansea Comic Con in the Volcano, I think. Then the second year I went, I met Dave. I want to say David, and he basically had an idea for an anthology called Age of Savagery. It was a barbarian style anthology um, set on the world of Kenneth. With double D in Welsh is Th, isn't it?
Yeah.
Th? Yeah, so Geneth. Set in the world of Geneth. He basically gave us a blurb, like different tribes and stuff. And we had to create a short comic, and that was probably, yeah, I think that was actually my first like published comic. So that's the one thing. I have been slowly but surely working on a sequel. I haven't heard anything from them, so I think it's been put on the back burner during lockdown. I could be wrong. Um, I hope I'm not wrong because otherwise I've missed the deadline by about 2 years. But my idea is there, and it's sound. Um, yeah, that's probably that's how my name's on there. Um, yeah, Kev's been super supportive. Like, to be fair, he read my pile of rubbish that I emailed him like 6 years ago, and told me to keep going. It's not quite there yet, and he was completely right.
He's a nice guy though, 'cause like I've seen him around the circuit plenty of times, and yeah, he's always nice, always approachable. So if you're a new comic person, check out some of their stuff, and maybe send, if you want to, try and send them a spec script if they're accepting. Don't just um
Mm,
unsolicit them, but if they're accepting
yeah,
offers, um, it's worth giving them
yeah.
a look.
He's even like they're always quite busy at cons. Like the Kev runs a proper publishing house. It's a proper business. But like if he's got the time, like if he's got 5 minutes, he'll have a look at your stuff, and he's always like willing for to have a chat. Like I think the first year I had a table, um, sort of we took like 20 minutes we had like lunch together and talked about like comic books and like how to get into the industry and stuff like that. Like super approachable, really nice guy. So shout out to Dead Star. Go check out their website.
So, I also saw, I can't remember, did you do some work for someone else as well recently?
Um, so recently, I haven't actually been doing a lot of comic book work. Um, I've been hired as an illustrator for a tabletop RPG. It was kickstarted last year in June, July. It's called Inspirisles. and it's basically an RPG that uses sign language to cast spells, which is super cool, and it will teach you sign language as you go. The more you learn, the more you can sort of like form in sign language. The better your spells are. You know, a really, really. Honestly, like, I'm not just biased. It's a really cool concept. Like, I love it. It's, like, from the beginning, like, Rich, who is the main, like, author and organizer, he hired me to do his cover. No, he hired me to do the inside border art. So, like, when you open a page, it's like the little, like, artwork that goes around the corner. He hired me to do that. Then he hired me to do the cover art. Then he kickstarted it and basically hired me to do the rest of the, like, loads of. There's two other artists, but I'm the main illustrator on it. And it's just been an absolute ride. I've enjoyed every single minute of it. Like, I love my RPGs. Even like big into tabletop, so it's been like the dream working on working on a tabletop RPG.
Yeah, that sounds really good. The chat just lit up for the first time since we've been going with how much they like that idea. So yeah, people seem to like that idea. It's a really cool concept, interesting. Where can people find that?
Oh, so if you, I've got a couple of options. So, I mean, if you, oh damn, I have to look it up.
It's fine.
So
we can put
you can type
all of your links at the end. If you can remember kind of where to point them, and then we'll put up all your links when you can send them over, and we can send people wherever they
if you search for Inspirisles on Facebook, you'll find it on there. If you follow me on Twitter, Mythic Comics and Art, I reblog all of their stuff that they post, so you'll find it that way. I think it's Hatchlings DM on Twitter. The Kickstarter's finished. There isn't a late pledge, but it is coming to retail. If you're in Swansea, I know Simon, when the Kickstarter was running, there wasn't a retail option on Kickstarter, but Simon did say he was interested in stocking it once it comes out, so hopefully you'll be able to pick up a copy there. It's all based on Celtic mythology, and it's sort of like slightly inspired by stuff like Legend of Zelda. Some of it's a bit Dark Soulsy, which is quite cool. It's been really, really fun. Lots of like King Arthur and Queen Guinevere, and yeah, great stuff.
So, just a quick aside, we've Sunsdowns Aurora has asked in the chat, what tabletops games are you into?
Okay, so I mean, I've been a big D&D fan for years. I love me some D&D. I backed. I really enjoyed the Dark Souls tabletop game. Most of which I've bought from Simon at Gamers Emporium. I backed the Bloodborne board game, which was also fantastic. That's just been managed to ship, so I reckon that's going to go to retail at some point soon. Journeys in Middle-earth was absolutely fantastic as well. That has a companion app that will like basically run the game as a DM for you as you play. Really, really good. Really enjoyed that one. Oh, it's honestly one of the best board games I've played. Like, just for the fact that like it's so much less of a like. It takes a lot of the like effort out of
I get
the whole board game experience by having an app. Like, it's it's like the cross between a video game and a board game. Like, and it just works. And if you love Lord of the Rings, absolutely fantastic. Recently, I've got into Age of Sigmar. So I've just bought into Warhammer for the first time in about 15 years.
I
So
I get that feeling.
really,
What army are
yeah.
you gone with?
Fire Slayers.
Because you want topless dwarves, obviously.
Topless top. Hey, have you seen me? Beards, long bit of hair at the top. Yeah, I'm sold, mate. You know, walking around in their underpants. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, the fact that they burn runes into their skin. I'm like, yeah, all over that. All over that.
So, yeah, I kind of like it was only because of the the con that I got into the tabletop and stuff. So you can actually watch me get suckered into all of this and on YouTube with the SCGC. I was telling Josh about one of the episodes we did where we went to speak to Davrig, but we also did introductions for me and Adam into like the gaming
Mm.
side of the world. And there's one particular of X-Wing. Um,
Oh,
it's Star Wars. It's Star Wars, and it's little ships.
yeah.
You get to push little ships around the table, going pew pew pew. and and like the big selling point for me at the time, apart from it being Star Wars and little spaceships, was that I didn't have to paint them. And then
Right.
yeah, and then so like I got really into X-Wing for a while, and then my nephew bought me because I dabbled briefly in the 90s with Warhammer 40,000, and
Mm.
my nephew a few years ago bought me one of the new Orc buggies when they first came out. And that was
Oh,
the
okay.
only thing I had. And he was like, I know you don't play, but because you always mention, like, I had one of the ones that I did have when I was a kid was the Orc War buggy. And so he bought me that.
Mm.
And he went, you don't have to. And then I ended up buying Orcs. And then, and I hate painting. I paint on stream on a Wednesday. Um, I paint on stream on a Wednesday. I'm not good at painting, but and we're opening it up to be more of a community thing. So if people want to join in on the Discord, we'll drop the Discord link on on your at some point. But if you want to come and join me on Wednesdays where I paint, I'm not. It's not a how-to because I'm not very good, but it's making me paint them, which I wouldn't do if I wasn't
Yeah.
doing the stream. So
Yeah.
and my nephew had Space Wolves, and like he'd spend £20 and get like 200 points. I spent £20 on Orcs and I get like 90 points. So his army was getting bigger and bigger, and I couldn't compete. So I bought a ready-made Chaos Black Legion army of Simon, which also came with
Nice.
some Nurgle demons. Uh, and then, because I had that, me and Kieran went halfers on Dark Imperium, the 8th edition starter set, because it had chaos. I could just add them to my to my Black
Yeah.
Legion, and then I ended up with a Death Guard army, which also kind of worked with the Nurgle stuff that I had off Simon.
Yeah.
And now I've got an Orc army, a Death Guard army, a Black Legion army, and I bought more Nurgle demons since. And because then I can kind of go into Age of Sigmar along the way as well with the Nurgle
Yeah.
demons. So yeah, I totally get that. But if I was going to pick an army to start in Age of Sigmar, I think it would be the Caradon Overlords, just because I like the look of the steampunk
Oh,
dwarves.
yeah. Yeah. They are really cool. To be fair, I was always gonna go dwarf. I think, like when I was younger, when I was first playing Warhammer, when I was edgy, I was like chaos, chaos all the way. You know. And
What's
now
that
that
say
I've
for
grown
me?
up and I've basically turned into a knockoff Gimli from Lord of the Rings. I'm like searching for my own people. You know, so yeah, Fire Slayers.
So if we ever come out of this, we'll have to have a game. My Nurgle versus your dwarves. So is that what you play in D&D as well then? Dwarves.
Uh, I mean, mainly. I just, yeah, I. It's been, like I had a lot of fun as a tiefling way back, but the last 3 times I've played a dwarf. So I played a dwarf assassin, which I loved, absolutely great. A dwarf fighter, and then my last iteration I played my favorite, a Druss. I played Druss, my dwarf barbarian. Um, yeah, I loved him to pieces. Yeah, half naked, big battle axe, wore like the head and cape of a wolf skin. He was just, yeah, loved him, loved
It's
him.
I tend to play sneaky characters, so someone in the chat have gone dwarves rule, elves rule, and like yeah, but half elves kind of you get the sneakiness of the elves and the stupid buffs of the humans. So,
Ah, half
but
half elf bandits. That's what they are. Yeah,
uh,
can't trust any of them. Half elves.
but no, I've bounced around. I think I've played a gnome druid, a human
Nice.
bard, um, and a half elf rogue. And I think I'm missing one in there somewhere. Can't remember now though. Yeah, so
Hmm,
I normally like to be sneaky and not in the fray. So, so we're supposed to be starting a new game soon, and I'm gonna go barbarian for a change, but I haven't decided what race yet. So, yeah.
nice. I played a trident as well. I think recently, fairly recently, from the sea. Yeah, he basically turned into a French Zap Brannigan, which was absolutely hilarious to play as. Like with the worst French accent I could muster from. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
so
really good.
when I was
It was great
playing
fun.
Oh, when I was playing a bard, my friend Kieran, not my nephew Kieran, our friend Kieran, was playing like a barbarian, an orc
Mm.
barbarian or half orc barbarian, whose career profession had been gladiator. So he had better perform skills than my bard, and he would use captivating performance by doing that Terry Crews things with his pecs. And like my bard would be there. My bard would be there trying to do something with because I made her play an accordion just because it was stupid. And yeah, and
Accordion's a badass.
but can you imagine carrying an accordion around to fight and everything? And then to
Imagine
make it
trying to
worse,
sneak.
yeah. But to make it worse, she's there playing her accordion, and you've got the half orc going, "Hey, look at my pecs," and doing a better job than her.
Oh, I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
fun stuff.
you also I know it's currently on hiatus, but you and Ralph and Alan do a podcast as well.
Leanne. Yes, yes. So Snap, Crackle, and Pop Culture podcast. I think we had like a 2-year run. We've had to put it on hiatus because Ralph was very selfish and decided to have a baby. Um, yeah, I would be mad at him, but god damn it, is Kenji's just like the cutest baby I've seen. So yeah, I can't be too angry at him. But I mean, we've got backlog of quite a few. There's even some D&D episodes there. A couple of Attack on Titans. It's mainly like pop culture stuff, so stuff that we've been watching at the time. Like we do talk a bit about comics. We were quite strict in the beginning. Like we'd have like a comic book artist, we'd have a movie and a game to talk about, and then that quickly evaporated into what did you do this week? But it's quite good. It's quite entertaining. I think yeah, you need content, so you just talk about what you do. You know what games you've been playing, right? um, yeah, we will eventually come out of hiatus once the once the baby hits 18 and he's able to ship him off to university or whatever.
You don't have to worry
Yeah.
about 18. Just old enough that the baby can start editing the episodes.
Oh yeah, teach them young, and kids are picking up technology like that nowadays.
Yeah.
Like probably be able to edit by the time he's 6. Like
Yeah. And there's
get him
me
working.
there's me, like one of the apes from Space Odyssey, where tried bloody ready to smash it up because I couldn't get the audio to record. I bet if we had a 5-year-old, they would have fixed it for us.
Yeah. Oh dear.
Yeah, and so like you guys have done like a lot of D&D episodes.
Yeah, we
So it's
homebrew
not
D&D episodes.
so it's not dated at all.
Sorry,
So
what you said?
I was gonna say, so like the content's not dated, so people can go to Stitcher or your podcast apps,
Radio Public.
wherever you get your podcasts from, and check out Snap, Crackle, and Pop Culture podcast as well. Because it's well worth a listen.
Thank you.
And yeah, so what's the plans? Before we get on to what's the plans, so has lockdown been productive for you? Because we've all got more time, but going from recent
Yes, we do.
going from my own personal experience, having more time but with no end in sight doesn't mean you get the drive to do stuff. So has it been productive for you?
For me, yes. Like I'm pretty driven in general. Like I always find time to draw. I'm always like little snippets of time. I'm a big believer in if you do a little bit every day, you'll get it done quicker. So even if it's just like half an hour, like even if it's a half an hour sketch, even if it's like little like half an hour on doing some line art or just like coloring in one little bit, it's a job you don't have to do like the next time when you're spending 4 hours. Like, so lockdown's been really productive. To be fair, like I've smashed through all of the work for Inspirisles. Like I did the beastery in like record time. Honestly, I was like pumping out monsters every other day. I'm usually really slow, and for some reason, as soon as somebody pays me to do some work, it just like comes out of me. No idea why, but so yeah, on the whole, like it's been pretty productive. Then I've got nothing else to do. I can't go out anywhere. I can't do anything else. So
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
What I find, like, so like you've had deadlines if you've got paid work on the board, but with no deadline in place, I'm just like, well, it can wait, and with no end in
Yeah.
sight at the moment, it was just like, for me,
I don't know where this has come from. Like it's only developed in like the last, I suppose, like three maybe 4 years. Like if I was like this while I was in uni, I my work would have been 10 times better, but I wasn't. Yeah. I think it's a case of I really enjoy doing my artwork. Like there's been a lot of like new opportunities. Like I've been doing a lot of like t-shirt designs and stuff like this. So working with a company in Neath called Authentic Asgard. A vinyl for like t-shirts and stuff. I've been doing a lot of work on my Etsy store. I built my website. There's always something to do, and it's just been a case of taking the time to sort of like sit down and actually do it. Even the non-fun stuff, like making my website, which was absolutely awful. Like yeah. I built I was so like the first one I built. I was like, it looks great. I've got everything where I want it, and then the theme stopped working. just stopped working for no reason. So I had to start again. Like 3 days work just gone. Yeah,
So,
really annoying, but
yeah, well, since we've been doing this, I found myself, I like being busy. So like, whilst I've been off and finding myself like with no end like deadlines or anything, it's been difficult for
mm,
me. So like, since we started doing these streams and stuff, I've found a bit more urgency and starting to feel a bit better. Like, because I've got product. Like, it also helps me with gaming
yeah,
because like, even with things like no, like playing games, even when
mm,
I've been like sitting around trying to work out what to do because of lockdown, um, I've I haven't done any gaming, but now because it's for the stream, it's productive. I feel productive again, and I'm actually playing
yeah,
games again. So like, yeah, it's that thing of keeping yourself productive, isn't it? It's good for you, I guess.
yeah. I like setting set a lot of my like own deadlines. So like for Inspirisles, um, we had this like sort of ambiguous, undefined like deadline of end of January or end of December, end of January kind of like thing, which was way off in the distance. Like, and if I'd focused on that, nothing would have got done until like the 1st of December. I tend to like set my own like deadlines, like it, you know, like the Kickstarter ended in like July, so I was like, oh, I'll try and get the Beastery done by August, or September or August, and then I can do like get the main big illustrations done by the end of October, and then I can get the little bits done over December. And if you sort of work it like that, even if other stuff comes along, like every now and then I'll get like the odd commission from somebody, saying they want like a tattoo design, or they want book covers and stuff like that. I've got the time then, because I've already done such and such work. I've got the time to sort of like put aside like 3 days or a week to sort of like do it.
All right. So, what what does the future hold for Josh and Mythic Comics and Art then?
um. So obviously, I still need to finish Inspirisles. After Inspirisles, I'll be working on a project called Feathers by the same author, which is basically the same concept but for slightly younger. And it's based on a sign language I think it's called Makaton, which is like a more simplified version of sign language for younger kids to be able to talk. It's called Feathers because the kids basically fly around on the back of birds, basically sign languaging to each other to communicate while they're like flying through the air and stuff like that. Really cool concept, but that's like the next project. After that, we've got like the continuation of Inspirisles, but for a slightly older audience. So if Inspirisles is for teenagers, I suppose I think it's called Under Isles at the moment, or that's like the working name, is basically for like young adults, and it's much darker version based in the sort of like depths of the Isles, basically. So everything had like a bit of a darker spin on it. It's a bit more grim, a bit more gruesome. Really looking forward to that one, because I'll even be writing some of it, which would be quite cool. And I'll be a bit more involved in sort of like the concept of it. Bit more involved, a bit more inspired by things like Bloodborne and Dark Souls. A sort of like gritty, dark universe where you're sort of like discovering about the land as you're traversing through it, that kind of thing. So the main two things that I've got coming up after well, after the end of Feb, end of March. I have been writing a book, which I've started. I've been on a hiatus for about 8 months now because I haven't had time to keep writing it. And that is basically it's basically a novel version of the comic book that I always wanted to create. Because it's just too much work for one person to make a comic out of. There's just no way in hell am I going to be able to sort of create that by myself. So yeah, it's a modern retelling of the Trials of Hercules. Yeah.
So that's something for people to look forward to in the future, just to put some pressure on him so that he carries on with it. I've asked the chat, but I'll ask it in person, out loud as well. Has anyone got any questions for Josh? And whilst we're waiting to see if anyone in the chat comes back, we probably. So, one of the places that I guess I met Josh but didn't really know him before cons and stuff was he worked in a video game shop. So,
Oh yes.
so it must be. We should touch on it probably. What games are you looking forward to and playing at the moment?
Oh, okay. So, I'm currently replaying Bloodborne, because my partner, who has started it a couple of times, she's never got through it. She's a big Dark Souls fan like I am, and as soon as she started playing, I was like, okay, now I want to play it. So I've been playing Bloodborne. I've just come off the back of Greedfall, which I quite enjoyed. A couple of issues with it, but on the whole, it was all right. Before that, I played Cyberpunk, which I know a lot of people had some issues with. I played it on PC, and I have like high-end PC because I bought a new one, like brand spanking new, beginning of midway through last year. So in terms of like glitches and problems for me, I had like basically none, and I really enjoyed it. So, I get why people are annoyed, especially like playing on like PS4 and Xbox One or whatever. But I mean, if you're playing on Xbox One, you deserve to have a bad time anyway.
To be fair, I know two people who might be watching who only bought it and played it on on Xbox One because they couldn't get their hands on the new whatever. Why can't Xbox have named things in like sequential order? So like, what is
honestly,
the new one called?
So the new one is a Series X rather than an Xbox One X. Like working in a game shop, like it's like there's like a collective groan that you can feel, even if you're not in the same house when they announce it at like what's the big video game convention, like E3.
Yeah.
So when they announce it at E3, it's like, here's the Xbox Series XY Z, not to be confused with the Xbox Series XY. Like, fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. You couldn't think of a different name, could you? No. The amount of times I've had Playbox S or X Station, shouted at me by an 80-year-old woman that doesn't really understand the concept of a video game console. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not 80, but when it comes to Xbox, as soon as they named the second one 360, surely the next one should have been 540, 720, 1080. Just keep going round.
Something.
Some sort of sequence.
Yeah. Like, regardless of Xbox versus PlayStation, at least PlayStation have named their consoles right. She's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. No. Easy to remember.
Yeah.
To quote Ubisoft, iconic.
Yeah, so like I get it. I couldn't imagine working because like I worked in food retail and people couldn't remember names of foods. Like I once got asked by someone for furry potatoes. Can you guess what that is?
Uh, no.
Croquettes.
What's furry? Furry? They're not furry though. They're breaded. For
Yeah.
God's sake.
So like I can only imagine when it comes to stuff like that, working in game retail. So
Oh, honestly, yeah. I mean, I've worked my fair share in restaurants and stuff like that. You know, one of my best friends, he's worked in restaurants for years and years and years. The best story that he ever told me about was the young lady that asked for soup during the Christmas period when it was all like set menus and they didn't have any soup spare. So they got the prawns, obviously come with a finger wash, bit of water with a lemon in it, and
ugh.
basically brought everything to the table. Second time going around, is everything okay? And the girl was like, my soup's a bit watery and it's a bit cold. Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. They're the kind of things that you want in your restaurant experience. You know, kind of things that you wish happen.
Yeah, I can. Oh, I couldn't tell them on here because I'd have to swear. But like some of the stories, like you don't see it as well often now. But like Christmas Eve in a supermarket used to be nuts because you'd have people queuing up outside to buy a frozen turkey on Christmas Eve, and people would fight over them. And it's like you can't even defrost it in time for tomorrow. What are you doing?
Yeah.
So like, yeah.
Put it in the bath, lukewarm water, you know.
Food poison the whole family.
Yeah, it's fine.
But, uh,
Everybody's off to be able to recover, isn't it?
oh, and the next morning when everyone's ill, it's like, oh, we had a bit too much to drink. Everyone got an hangover.
yeah, yeah. Shouldn't have had that third bottle as Bailey's, should you? Yeah, well, my turkey was pink.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
good
So,
times.
I'm guessing your new job isn't retail. So,
No, no, thankfully not.
no, I
Thankfully
do
not.
miss
Yeah,
customers every now and then, and then you deal
I
with
do
one,
not.
and then you deal with that one somehow. And yeah, or you see customers treating retail staff horrible, and you think, yeah, I don't
Yeah,
miss it.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't miss the Karens. The only thing I really miss from retail is Christmas Eve, working in a game shop where you had like throughout the day you must have spoken to like 300 dads that were like coming in to buy the one thing that was out of stock. You know, like, and we used to take bets, like, what is it going to be this year? Like, is it going to be the Ring Fit? Is it going to be like Lego Dimensions or something like that? You know, the one thing the dad has promised the child that he was supposed to pick up 4 months ago when
Turbo
they
Man.
were in stock and has left it till Christmas Eve, 4 p.m. You know, and they come in, they're like, "Oh, have you got this?" Like, no, sorry. Have you tried Argos? Have you tried Argos? And they're like, no. It's like, good, because they haven't got any. It's like, yeah, yeah. Tesco's out. Have you tried Smith's? No. Yeah, they haven't got any either. Yeah. Some guy selling them on eBay for £300, but delivery is 6 weeks. You know, it's great.
Oh,
We used to call it bad dad day. My favourite time in retail.
so it's like Jingle All the Way, basically.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm just waiting for Arnie to like burst through the door and smash me in the face.
Sinbad.
Where's my X station?
He seems chill in his old age, though.
Yeah, yeah. He's doing all right in it, you know. He's not the powerhouse he once was. I still wouldn't pick a fight with him, but you know.
No, he's not gonna throw a knife through you and stick you to a wall and tell you to
No, he's
stick
not.
around.
Oh,
All right. So
fine.
anyway, I've kept you long enough. Thank you for bearing with me with all the technical issues at the start. Where
Absolutely
do you want to
fine.
send people to find all your stuff?
Um, you can search for me on basically any social media by typing in Mythic Comics and Art. It should point you to me, at least in some way. Like, there's a bit of variation with Instagram that doesn't have enough letters or something like that, or Twitter that doesn't have enough letters to fit the and in. But if you search Mythic Comics and Art, you can find me on there. I have a website which is mythic-comics.co.uk. And I have an Etsy store if you want to check out some of my work and buy some prints, Mythic Comics and Art on Etsy.
And we will post all of those links for you in the Facebook, probably the easiest because it
Mm-hmm.
takes more words than Twitter, and
Yeah, it does.
Instagram doesn't like links. So
Oh, it's just yeah,
so yeah, we
yeah.
will post them all up into the Facebook. Um, and obviously we've still got the giveaway going. If you want to get the um, Keyforge two-player starter set that I showed off on um, Saturday, I think I done it. Yeah, so showed off on Saturday. So it won't be the two decks that came with it. It'll be two random decks, but it'll be all the tokens. It'll be everything you need for two people to play it. Just drop us, subscribe to our Twitch, or like one of our posts and tag a friend on Instagram. Or share one of our posts on Facebook, and I will add you to a draw to be drawn next Saturday when I do either the Stardew stream or the Pokemon stream. So thank you again, Josh, for coming on.
It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you.
And hopefully we could get you guys on again soon. Our schedules permitting and everything. Thank you to everyone who tuned in, and